Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make that halftone pointillized dotty image that you kind of see everywhere these days. So I'm going to name this new file halftone, so that's what it's going to be. And I've already got my shape picked out to be a star. You click 5 sides there and you can select it to be a star. And that's what I've picked. I'm going to go ahead and make it about like that. Okay, now I have my shape. I'm going to put it in the middle there. Get rid of the background just so you can see this shape a little bit better. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is select the white area in this shape with your magic wand tool there. Now make another layer. You select your gradient tool, and you can choose different kinds of gradient. This is the one that I wanted for this because it goes from dark to light to dark. It's not going to matter because we're going to convert it to a grayscale here pretty soon, so the color is not going to matter. Okay, so that's about what I have with my gradient. Okay, and like I said, now you want to go to Image, Mode, convert it to a grayscale. And you can go ahead and merge your layers because you're going to have to flatten them here pretty soon anyway. So go ahead and discard your color information. Okay, and now that's what you're at. Next, you go back to Mode, Bitmap. This is very important. This is how it makes your halftone. Your bitmap halftone is what it's called. Go ahead and flatten your layers like I said it would do. Okay, I like a lot of points in my halftone, so I'm going to go ahead and select 300. Go ahead and play around with this number. See what it does. You can always go back and change it. And the method needs to be halftone screen here. Go ahead and mess around with these too. You'll get different effects for each one of them, and they're all pretty interesting and can be used for different things. So halftone screen is what we're using here. Click OK. Frequency, I like them pretty frequent, so I clicked 55. Angle doesn't really matter too much because the shape is round. If the shape was diamond or any of these other ones, then it would matter a little bit more. But I'm going to go with round, so it'll be circles. Okay, and then you click OK, and that's what you're left with. It's flattened down to a background image. So let's get down to just these dots. So get rid of your selection. You'll take the marquee tool. Just click to get rid of your selection there. You're going to need to go to Image, Mode, and select it grayscale again. That size ratio is fine, so click OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and change it back to CMYK mode. Let's say we're making a poster, some sort of print material here. So I'll go to CMYK. Let's say, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so now to get just these black dots, you click your magic wand tool, like I just did here, and click the white area. And as you can see, you didn't get all your white area here. So what you've got to do is, here, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Some of these white spots aren't selected. So what you can do is you can either, and this is the hard way, you take your magic wand tool and you hold down Shift. You start clicking each one of these individually. Or the easy way is you go up to Select, Color Range, and you click in this white area. And that, oh. That should get everything. And okay, it didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to unselect it, and just to make it easier on myself, we'll go to Select, Color Range, like I was saying. We take this eyedropper and just click on the white area, and then go to OK. Okay, now you can see it's gotten every white area there. It's selected. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. You could either mask it out or it doesn't really matter. In order to manipulate this background layer, you have to unlock it, and you do that by double-clicking on it. Okay, and it automatically automatically names it layer 0. I'm not too concerned about keeping that background there, but let's go ahead and just mask it out anyway. Oh, it looks like I need to invert it. In order, if you're going to mask it out, you need to select the inverse, and then you can make your mask, and then you have just your black dots there. Let's zoom out a little bit. The other thing you could have done there was just delete it and not make this mask here. Okay, so now we have just the black dots in this one layer here. And that's pretty much it. You've made your halftone. You can do this with any shape. You could do this, on the entire screen. You can take this into Illustrator, do a live trace on it, and get rid of some of the dots or color in some of the dots. There's really an endless world of possibilities there. But let's just do just a couple things here with it, just to show you what the possibilities are. Make another layer. Now let's put a simple gradient on this layer, just as kind of a background. And we'll just make a kind of a simple gradient like that. Move that more towards the middle. Okay, let's add a little bit of color. I'll add a layer here. Let's put it behind that layer. This is going to be a color layer. Let's color in that star. Okay, so now you have your layer. It's going to be behind this star. Okay, so what I do here is I'm going to click this polygonal lasso tool. That's what it's called. And I'm going to go ahead and just outline the whole star here. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, let's outline this whole star. I'm going to go kind of quick. It could take a little bit more time. This is a real project. Okay, so now you have the selection on that layer. I'm going to select the gradient tool again, and I'm going to go back to this gradient. I kind of like the colors on there, so I'm going to go OK. And I'm going to fill that layer with this gradient. Okay, now that looks pretty interesting. So I'll get rid of my selection there by clicking once again. I used a 1 pixel feather up there on my selection, and it kind of bleeds a little bit, as you can see. It's a little bit less crisp. I kind of like it that way. But you can mess around with it. Okay, so now we have this colored in star. Now let's go ahead and put an outer glow behind it. So you double click, as you can see what I did there. I just double clicked on my layer to open up this layer styles. I'll do outer glow. You click on outer glow, and I want to. This is usually a little bit yellow. I like to make it more white. It makes it a little bit of a cleaner image. Let's do that. Okay, and I'm going to make the size a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and maybe bump this down a little bit to 50. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so you can mess around with pretty much all this stuff. Okay. Okay, so now we have this star here. Let's say you want to put a little text on top of it. This is kind of starting to look maybe a little bit like an icon or a logo. Let's just call this branded. Looks like I have Rockwell selected up there. It's a good font. Okay. You can change the color here if you want. I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to play with it a little bit. So let's go ahead and put it right about there. That's where it wants to be. I've got some sort of snapping feature on. Okay, so there's that. It's kind of, the text kind of gets washed away there, so I'm going to go ahead and double click and bring up those styles for the text layer. I don't really like the color here, or the lack thereof, so I'm going to click on color overlay. And let's go ahead and just leave it red like that. I kind of like that. So we'll leave the color overlay as being red. Let's do a drop shadow on this so that you can kind of see it a little bit more. Now drop shadows, you got to be careful with those. They should be pretty subtle in general, as a philosophy of mine. A lot of people I know. Let's take the distance and put it right back on top of there. Make the size a little bit bigger. Actually, let's not make the size bigger. Let's make the spread. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and make the size a little bit bigger, just to make it easy on us here. Okay, like I said, we'll go down to 50. That's pretty good. It still gets washed out a little bit. Let's go back to 75. Oh, okay. Looks like... Okay, that's okay. We'll just go with that. Just to kind of get this wrapped up. Select OK there. And there you go. I mean, that's just kind of a simple thing that you could do with it. Okay. You know, if you've made it all the way through, power to you. You could have left right when we got done with the star, but I just kind of wanted to show you what sort of different things that you could do with this kind of halftone pattern. And there's plenty of other things you can do. You can make a pattern kind of come in from a corner, or use it in all sorts of different ways. That's your job to figure out how you want to use it. So I hope you've learned something. Thanks for watching. You can watch more tutorials at glazefolio.com/blog. I'm going to try to get as many up as I can here, about at least once a week. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let me know what you think about the video. Either you can like it or comment on it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.